It's blessings. So, I had this incredible question from a soul sister of mine that I felt, let's talk about this because we are many experiencing the same thing. So, we have done so much work and we felt so good, in December and maybe beginning of January, feeling like, okay, I'm releasing the old, I'm in the space in between. It was been going on November, December, and now after the 111 portal, where many of us built big expectations, we really felt how the energy was building up. And we had expectations. We kind of, started to control that now after 111 portal, I'm going to know exactly what to do. And we went to this blank state of no, you're still not getting it. And I can tell you that I myself are being challenged all the time by my guides and my higher self. So they're giving me bits and pieces of what is about to come, as I know that so much is about to change, right? So they're giving me but you could do this, this is gonna be in the future, you're gonna do this. And then the old me still comes in and wants to do what I've been received as information in an old way. And that's where the clash comes, and that is uncomfortable. And in the same way, we know holy moly, there's so much change coming in, and we're still doing that shift and those changes because the old us haven't left the house yet. We might think that, but there's small toes and feet and fingers still lingering there, trying to do the things in the old way. So that is one aspect, right? The expectations that we tend to build. And I have come into peace most of the times that the human experience will always be, not always, but pretty often build up expectations. We're not building expectations as before, but there's still a sense of, when we start to work in wanting to attract something into our field, we work with the law of attraction. It's so easy that there's a little bit of a turning point where before we know it, we're actually having expectations. The beautiful thing about the expectations, it teaches us all the time, over and over again, even if we think oh, I fail, but then after that failure, we're noticing that wow, something greater is actually being birthed here from what I expected. So again, God is showing us over and over again in our family of light that our expectations are usually not as good as the ones that God can create for us in our family of light and our higher self. So we're going through a very intense school on a new level. It's like this chapter of our human experience school where we're going to learn to letting go of expectations as soon as we're noticing they're coming up. So the sister of mine asked, she really thought that there was time for her to step into her spiritual mission and work as a spiritual coach and healer. So she so bravely left her old work, and now she's standing there not feeling secure at all. She feels that she don't sees enough, that her spiritual gifts are not awakened enough, and all of these things. And this is the moment where actually the controllers reaches us with their negative programming, and they're streaming so deeply into our field that we start to create expectations and stories about how it is to serve spiritually and be in the mission. So one of the biggest programs running in the field is that you can only work, in the spiritual field if you can see a lot, if you can, have a premonition gifts and all of those things. That's not true, because I know so many of you that can go out there and assist those that are just starting this journey or haven't even started this journey. And we all have unique pieces where we can assist. And even here, there's an expectation of how to assist, right? So what if you're about to assist spiritually by being a regular teacher or working at a supermarket or whatever? What if your role is to anchor in the light and your codes, you know, taking payments on a regular shop every day? You know, that is the shift that is happening on this planet. I know it's beautiful to wanting to be a healer and channeler and all of those things, but you are that even if you are not having sessions or holding meditations. I know so many of you that are doing that work all the time, and I'm seeing some of the most incredible light workers are not healers. They're not standing here like me and doing all these activations and stuff. They're those down there working on the floor with the unawakened people. I get this privilege to work with all of you, having all this devotion. I feel like the heroes are those standing every day with this angry, totally asleep people. They are the heroes going up every morning and doing the work. So this is the shift that needs to happen. And for many of us, we're going to be asked to. I know that my mission is changing, and I also know that I'm resisting it many times because I love what I'm doing, right? So many times when my guys say, this is done, this is done, this is done, now we're going to jump to this, I also feel like, woo, but for every time we dare to do it, we notice that we don't missing out, and there's no missing and there's no failure. So let's say also, behind all of this, you feel that you want to try to be a healer, you want to be a space holder. Go out there and try. Do it. You will not regret. We know that by now. The last thing we want to do when we're leaving this incarnation is to regret all the things we didn't try, because there is no failure. And we know that the programmers and the controllers tries to make us scared of failure, but there is no such thing. It's only failure in not trying. And we are awake enough. So with that comes also this, the nervous system also reacts, because I do feel that there's a huge shift happening, not only in my timeline, but in the collective timeline. Everything is about to change, and we're still operating in a little bit in the old ways. So all these old parts of the old template operation needs to be dissolved, and that is happening. It's still being dismantled on so many levels, and it's okay. It is okay. And also behind all of this, there's something that I talked before about, and that's timing. So many of you are like me. I see a lot of what is about to happen. I can see things that is about to happen 10 years, 15, 20 years ahead, or 3 years, or 1 year ahead. And when I see it, I think it's now. I'm like boom, boom, want to do it now. Okay, so now I'm about to do this. Okay, I get information about this. I'm going to do this now. No. So many of the information that is coming into our field is also not now the right timing. So not only looking at expectations, looking at them on the other side, looking how they can serve you when you're letting go of those expectations, seeing that there's something higher, but also trusting, jumping, making mistakes, because there's no failure, right? But look at the timing also. So many times I see so many, especially in my sessions and also when we do the big webinars activations, so much information is coming through about things, great things that we are going to do individually and collectively, a tribe level. I know I will be living with my tribe. I know that many of us will be living close. We will be doing planetary work, and the healing and activation work we're being prepared for. It's not going to be on an earthly level. We're going to work on the galactic and cosmic and universal levels, because Earth is the place to be. So much is going to change ahead. But I also know that many of you are experiencing a resistance of the change because of the fear of the responsibility you're going to need to take. And I can say that many of old timelines are coming in when it comes to the fear of responsibility. I'm clearing that a lot, because I had many timelines where I had huge responsibility and there was falls. The fall of Atlantis, the fall of Lemuria, the fall of Egypt, there's all these timelines of fall where we felt we had this huge responsibility and that we didn't make it. But this time around is different. We know that we take our own responsibility and we teach and help people to take their own responsibility. So when self-responsibility is coming in, we are not going to need to be scared of the responsibility. So many of you are also scared of the responsibility of the new that is knocking on your door and wants to come in and come through. You know that people will fall out of your life and you will come in. You will be asked to use a lot of your courage. You're going to be seen. You're going to be acknowledged, heard, listened to. And that also creates that resistance of like, oh, responsibility, does that mean I need to shape up my discipline, my spiritual commitment, my life? And yes, it's going to be more responsibility, but it's going to be nice. And that's a responsibility you're going to need and want to take and take on, because you're going to want to walk the talk. And it's not something that is going to be heavy. It's going to be a rewarding self-responsibility towards showing up authentically, not showing up in perfection, showing up in authenticity. So with all of these things I just talked about, I hope you can see how much is changing in the field, how much of our old template that is being dissolved, and that takes time, even if we're now anchoring in the new template. And I can't wait to see you all in Glastonbury, because we're going to do so huge work. I just received the Merkaba we're going to build there energetically with our bodies. But just saying that so much is about to change, and it's changing already, but there's still aspects of that old that is just lingering. So I really hope that this could assist you. Tomorrow I'm going live on Facebook doing my big weekly energetic update, and on Wednesday next week we are up for the next level chakra activation, and so much is coming through, and I can't wait to actually come together with you, because we somehow really need to be together sometimes to push through the flow that is ready to start to flow through the chakras when we are together. So I love you, I honor you, bless your hearts. Mwah.